this, guys.
He's alive.
He's alive. Okay, so picking up where I left off before, Plan B is a good thing. It really is. And again, I don't want to say anything like I'm talking down to anybody because, there's a lot of you guys have just as much experience, and there's a lot of you that have more experience than me, and there's some that have less. So you kind of know where I'm coming from with this subject. But what I was saying about, my wife, her contract, annual contract on one of her contracts was $500,000, and so that's where the money was coming from. So let's say you win the lottery, the big one, and you're able to take care of your families. And you always remember, no matter how much, the bigger your winnings are, you pay more than half into federal tax that I'm aware of. Okay, and then you're left with what's left. Okay, so let's say if you win $370 million, and you're left after taxes and that with about 150 million. And that's a lot of money if you live, I don't want to say, cheap and put people down, but if you live very humbly, where you're not the big shot and spend money, because boy, you buy, let's say, 100 Bentleys or something like that, jets, net, you're going to burn through that money. I mean, that's just common sense. So, the point being made, and for people older than me, this might sound kind of stupid, but sometimes this needs to be said because of what I've been seeing out there and all this advice, because this happens to be, there's clouds. It's a mystery. We're trying to figure out, what's the code to get in, Code's called money. It's called money. And Plan B really is taking charge so that no one makes a fool out of you, I've taught students where I would sit down and tell them after they would ask me questions what they should do. And when you're young, you have time on your side, okay? So that's one advantage. But then I had a lot of students that were kind of smart about it and said, they would see other people fail and they didn't want to be down that road. And it's those stories, it's all those heartache stories where people would get very heavily into drugs. They'd be strung out, they'd lose everything, they'd lose their marriage, they'd lose their family, and again, some of them would just get so depressed they'd take their own lives. All because they listen to some whack job tell you don't have to have a Plan B because Plan B is going to kill your creativity. Again, I was young too, and I used to think, things like that until when I start to realize I've gotten good, and it's all about really maintaining your chops. And we all have busy days, but if you have it here and you're able to bring it to here, you really don't lose anything. You really don't. And sometimes you do need to take the break from it because it could just drive you batty, depending on the person, of course. So yeah, I would always recommend a person have a Plan B and back it up so that when someone takes you down the road to ruin, or they try to, you could back up and say, wow, I'm still standing, and this person, if they are out to be devious and all that, they're going to hang themselves, and you're not going to be tied to it. You don't have to worry, and you'll be the one standing, and life goes on, and then you can look back and say, wow, if I would have taken a different road, what would have been the outcome if I would have listened to this person? I've had a conversation with people that, for instance, would tell me that I would have to do this, that, and the other. Otherwise, no one's going to like me. No one's going to like you, Dave, because you got the cheap Ibanez, or, cheap Ibanez, or you got the cheap Digitech, or you're only playing a duo. No, this is all crap. How many of us remember back from the 70s and the 80s, before rap? And I'm not trying to pick on anybody, but honestly, back then, if someone were to tell us, yep, in the future, what is going to be the big thing? Guitar is going to go away. Now just picture this. Let's say 1985, the height of the metal circuit and the whole metal scene, right? With the big Marshalls cranking it up, man. And they were to tell us, the future is going to be the guitar is going to be almost dead, and you're going to have a bunch of people playing to beat boxes and with profanity. Now, I'm not saying all rap is, but we know there's a lot of profanity, so I'm being specific because that is also getting all the awards and everyone's like this, and these people are being disrespectful to women, to authority, and just dropping the F-bomb left and right, and everyone's supposed to, they're only doing it just for the sake of a certain attention. And that is supposed to take over real talent. And that's if they told us this back in the 80s, we would say, you're nuts. This was not, that no one in their right mind would listen to this stuff. But look what happened. So that when I hear people try to tell me, well, a duo won't work or a solo won't work, you gotta have this, you gotta have that, they don't know what they're talking about. Flat out. They don't know what they're talking about, and they don't like the fact that I'll tell them that, and I had a conversation with a person, and I told him right to his face. And I was being polite about it. Being polite about it. But I 100% disagree. Because everything is subjective. If you put on a good show, you're going to have people that are going to like you, and you're going to have people that are not going to like you. Just like a lot of us people that are really into metal and playing guitar. All my metalhead friends out there, die-hard metalhead friends, when is the last time you got so excited at the latest rap artist that you decided to get rid of your guitar, buy a microphone, and go to every one of those concerts? When's the last time you done that? Probably never, unless you had a son or daughter and you wanted to go with them to make sure nothing happened to them. My point is that even the most successful acts out there are going to have some people that are just not going to like it. I mean, this is common sense. This is life. So these are some of the people I have dealt with over the years, and I know I'm going to continue to deal with them as long as I decide to, try to make this my living. Whether I do it full time, whether I have to do it part time, whatever. I just love to play. Until I just say, hell with it, I love YouTube. These people are nuts. I'm just gonna play for you guys out there because you guys matter more than some of these people. Actually, you do. And I had a conversation. The people, to me, that really matter the most. I'm not trying to disrespect people that worked hard, that had got themselves established, and all the hard work they went through. They're exempt from this. But I had a conversation, and in this conversation, I mentioned about the people that work 40 plus hours, 60 hours, and then maybe on the weekend they want to go out and have a little enjoyment for themselves, To me, they're not little people. To me, they're the driving force. Without them, what would we have? I don't understand, Dave, because, we make this. You can make all the decisions you want. And this is exactly what I was told. And I was told this quite a few times by different people, and I'm not mentioning names, and their intentions are good, so it's not to pick on them. But the point I'm making is that because of their mixed up conversations, when I would ask straightforward questions, everything's mixed up. Every one of their answers is mixed up. Why in the world would I want to put all my eggs in a basket that the industry is run by people who are mixed up? And they're not necessarily mixed up, they know what they're doing, but they want to lead you on and make you feel like, okay, should I do this? Maybe I need to buy this. Maybe I need to do this. And it's always spend money, spend money, spend